Welcome to our channel. We're so happy to have you here. Don't forget to subscribe and help us hit our goal of 100,000 subscribers. Thetabar and Cleopatra, 1917. A lost film, 400 stills 20 seconds of the film itself, and the intro are known to have survived. A small loop of the film exists. Jackie Robinson, a baseball hero for the Brooklyn Dodgers, sits with his wife Rachel on the front steps of their house in 1949, holding his baby son Jackie Jr. on his lap. Nina Lean took the picture. Marine PFC George Chanak pauses by a row of fallen Marines on Okinawa, May 1945. George Chanak was killed in action not long after this picture was taken. He was 19 years old. Japanese troops, after their conquest of Nanjing, between 100,000 to 200,000 people who were Chinese were murdered in the event known as the Rape of Nanking. Ira Hayes, a Native American Marine immortalized raising the American flag over Iwo Jima, sits in a Los Angeles jail cell, 1953. Crippling PTSD and unwanted fame saw Hayes arrested 52 times for public intoxication after the war. He froze to death in the Arizona desert while drunk in 1955. Smiling in the face of death, Georges Blind was a member of the French resistance, and he was captured by the Germans and sentenced to death by firing squad in October 1944. New York. Miss Henrietta Miele giving an iron ring to a contributor, October 22, 1914. During World War I, German Americans started program Gold für Eisen, where donors traded their gold wedding rings for iron ones, which was used to fund the German war effort. Sergeant Reckless was a Mongolian mare who served in the Korean War with the U.S. Marines. She carried ammo under fire, once making 51 solo trips in a day. Honored with medals and promotions, she became a beloved hero and was later awarded the Dickin Medal for bravery. Mark Felt, the Associate Director of the FBI, second highest rank, who is famous for being the anonymous whistleblower known as Deep Throat, who assisted in implicating the White House's role in the Watergate scandal. Herero in chains. During the colonial period in German Southwest Africa, now Namibia, the Germans brutally suppressed the indigenous population. At least 60% Herero and 50% Nama population were killed in the Herero and Nama genocide, 1904-08. On this day, May 18, 1939, Jewish protests erupt across the British-Palestinian Mandate after Britain's white paper halts immigration, sealing the fate of millions of Jews to be murdered in the Holocaust. 13-year-old Barbara Kent, center, and her fellow campers play in a river near Ruidoso, New Mexico, on July 16, 1945, just hours after the atomic bomb detonation 40 miles away. Barbara was the only person in the photo that lived to see 30 years old. Josef Tiso, Catholic priest and leader of Slovakia, giving a speech in front of soldiers and civilians in Neusol, Banska Bystrica. To the left of Tiso, to his right, is Hermann Höfle, a general of the Waffen-SS, in October of 1944. Some leaders of various nationalist women's organizations of Europe, Olga Bjorner, Gertrude Schultz-Klink, Toyoko Oshima, simply the wife of the Japanese ambassador to Germany, Pilar Primo de Rivera, and Olga Medici during the International Women's Meeting in Berlin, 7th October 1941. Sergeant Reckless was a Mongolian mare who served in the Korean War with the U.S. Marines. She carried ammo under fire, once making 51 solo trips in a day. Honored with medals and promotions, she became a beloved hero and was later awarded the Dickin Medal for bravery. Depressing photo of a polar bear hunt in 1920, Ellesmeerland Bay off the coast of Greenland. With great difficulty, the animal was successfully lassoed close to the ship. A photograph taken by the American W. L. Sachtleben depicting the victims of a massacre of Armenians in Erzurum on October 30th, 1895, being gathered for burial at the town's Armenian cemetery. Rother's carousel in the 1950s in the United States accelerated to 33 revolutions per minute, creating a centrifugal force of almost 3G. When visitors stuck to the walls of the drum, the floor automatically lowered to amplify the effect. New York Department of Public Charities. Inspector speaking with Ida List, 8 years old, of 124 Ridge Street, September 16, 1913. Ida suffers from St. Vitus dance, Korea. Her mother works and takes in sewing. Her father is an alcoholic. Paul McCartney carrying 2 of his kids. Beside him stands Heather, Linda McCartney's daughter from a previous marriage, and behind him is Christopher Lee. A surreal moment in the mid-1970s. The last photo of Laurie Turney on October 15, 1965, 3 days before his death in a helicopter crash in South Vietnam. Turney fought for Finland, the Nazis, and the U.S. Army Special Forces. On this day 50 years ago, the NVA and the Viet Cong captured the South Vietnamese capital of Saigon. As the city fell, tens of thousands of people began to scale the walls of the U.S. Embassy, but in the end, only 5,500 Vietnamese would be helicoptered out by American forces. April 1923. Lanvin at the races. The model wears an embroidered jacket with deep V-neck worn over a softly pleated shirt. A large hat and double row of beads over the blouse complete the look. A U.S. soldier offers his hand to a woman leaving a cave where she had hidden with her child during the battle between Japanese and American forces. Saipan, 1944. The coronation of the Emperor of the Central African Republic, Bokassa. It consumed a third of the car's budget, and among the dishes served was the meat of his political opponents. New York Police Department's broadcasting station. It was used to send out criminal descriptions and casualty lists, as well as music and other entertainment. 1922. A terrible sight. Children dressed in rags were forced to work in non-safe environments, their innocent young faces reddened from a workday that seemed to never end, and the abolishment of child labor was unfortunately decades away. 1943. A quiet moment captured in a photo booth as a man poses with his loyal dog during the midst of World War II, a reminder that companionship often offers solace, even in turbulent times. Irene Sandler was a Polish social worker. During WW2, she saved the lives of 2,500 children by smuggling them out of the Warsaw Ghetto, despite being tortured by the infamous Gestapo and having both of her legs and feet broken with a sledgehammer. She refused to betray the children. A protester shows the blood-stained shirt of Edson Luiz de Lima Souto, one of the first students to be killed by the Brazilian military dictatorship. March 28, 1968. 1942 Polish captives await execution in Thuringia, victims of Nazi vengeance following the death of a brutal SS officer. Captured Jews during Warsaw Ghetto uprising led by the Germans for deportation to death camps. Picture taken at Noah Lippi Street near the intersection with Smocha. 1949. An ad for a life-insured bra by Stardust reveals the bizarre blend of fashion fear and commerce in post-war America. Agatha Christie, renowned for her masterful detective novels, also harbored a lesser-known passion for surfing. In 1922, during a visit to Waikiki Beach in Hawaii, she became one of the first Western women to ride a surfboard. January 18, 1939. Helen Hulick stands firm in court after being jailed for wearing trousers, an act of quiet resistance for women's rights. Easy Company paratrooper Forrest Guth at the Marmion Farm in Normandy in June 1944. 65 years later, Guth posed again with his captured German helmet as he did in 1944. 1937. Charlie Johns, 22, reads the Bible to his 9-year-old bride, Eunice Winstead. Their controversial union shocked America, yet they went on to raise 9 children. Make war not love. U.S. Marine Corporal Michael Wynn, 20, of Columbus, Ohio, taking a breather from battle at Da Nang, South Vietnam, 1967.